What's popping out? Okay, so what I'm doing now is I made my other video public so all of y'all could see this. And the name of it is How I Knew I Was Dating a Psychopath. Now, I know that there's gonna be some questions, and some of y'all who's gonna be like, because that story is wild. It is the truth, and it is wild. So one of the things that I wanted to address is there are some things that I disclosed in that video that I did not disclose with you before, which would mean that I have written for people, I have done ghostwriting, I've done this since I was 14 years old. That's a fact. Now, we are under contract when we do those things, and it's not just a contract, it's a literal contract. I'll say it that way. I'm gonna be careful with what I say, but it's like a soul contract. And there are rules that we have to abide by unless you're given permission or unless your contract has ended, point blank period. I did get permission at one point, you know. I cannot say no names, so that's why I'm sharing this story. Now, there are going to be some Karens who are like, oh, well, if you can't tell us who you write for, then we don't believe you. Well, bitch, who finna fuck up their bag for you? Do you see them boogers in my nose? Who finna fuck up their bag for you? Nobody. And baby, you ain't messing up what I got going on, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, not at all. So, not your damn business. That's who. The next thing is, some of y'all might be like, that's kind of a crazy story, you know, and it is. Baby, why my nose itching like this? And it is. Listen to every detail of this video and it will answer all of your questions, but I'm not allowed to say it out loud. So you just gonna have to read my body language, read who I am, read how I'm coming, and if you know, then you know. It'll hit you immediately. But I don't know why the fuck my nose is itching, baby. I think I got a booger in there or something. Who knows? I will pick my nose on this screen. I hope it's not a booger because I do feel it, but it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. Anyway, so that should answer all of your questions right there. Secondly, it is an intense story. Now, do I think that like my perception of it was kind of like exaggerated? I don't know. You tell me what you would think in that situation. You know, like if you was in that position and I explained everything how I did and you started seeing these signs, like I don't know if I was exaggerating or being precautious, you know. I'm being careful. But you can't tell me that I'm wrong about certain things, especially that ending. Like, I know what happened. Like, it's a given. And I knew when I left there, why is my nose itching like that? Whatever. Anyway, I feel like anyway, and no, I wish y'all hoes would try to say, what is it, you're on drugs? Ma'am, no. The only thing that I do is drink alcohol. That is it. Sue me. But yeah, the story is crazy, and the things that I have, like, in what is, I do want to add this, when it comes to those who are welcomed into, and I say the industry because we're dealing with people who are in the industry, and so they're put it this way, one of the things that they're given when you're in the industry is that it's kind of like a fairy tale land, right? Like they allow your fairy tales or your fantasies to come to life. And it's up to you to act on it, right? Like most of us, when we have fantasies, it's just that. It's only like in our head, you know, and then we know we can't act upon that. Like, at least me, it's like my fantasies, baby. I do not try that with me in real life because I am a prude. I am shy. You know, I deny that it was ever me, sort of thing. Not these people, baby. They live it in real life, for real. Like, honey. So that's what I think. Like, honestly, would I say that what the outcome was that a violent act? I don't know. But when I can only go off of my perspective of it and what I was shared with, which I'm not allowed to disclose, but like the information that I was given along with the facts, yeah, there was blood on the floor. What you mean is blood on the floor? I mean, it was like, listen, y'all don't believe me about this shit, I swear to God. I swear on my heart, my love, my soul, everything. I put it on them kids, honey. It was this big of a stain on that floor. That big of a blood stain on that floor. In that carpet. Along with the story that I was given and what I had seen, it looked like exactly what I said it was. Like, there's no, because like I do sometimes speak on things and then I'll have this like doubt in my head, which is what they want you to do. They want you to question if you're telling the truth or not, which I know I'm telling the truth always. I may be a bit dramatic, you know, I may be drama, but I tell the truth. And I got marbles. I got them. Anyway, so yes, it was on that flow, and I seen it, and I was just like, "What's that?" You know, and his response to me was like, it couldn't get no sketchier than that. Like, I know what I know, and I know what I remember. Now, what if the other thing that does come to mind is like, what if the other dude was like, that was his fantasy, you know, like he liked to get down? It's possible. However, that amount of blood cannot be pleasurable unless that's their thing. That is something that I wanted. The main reason why I wanted to do this video is to let you know that there are people that have specific kinks, and it may not be normal for what you and I think, but it's out there. Some people do like that sort of thing. And the reason also that I bring up the David and Celeste mention is because it does remind me a lot of what we would see in the industry. If you notice, her man is making music that requires like a lot of like gore, death, afterlife, all of those things. And the merch that he has too, that seemingly has this blood splatter on it. So is it out there? Yes. There are people who have those fantasies or those kinks. And as long as two people are willing, I mean, in consensual, like, fucking go for it. You know what I mean? Not my thing at all. You do that to me, it's gonna be a real life scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try me like that. But if two people, that is their thing, they might really like that. I think what happened was, looking back, just to add my commentary, I do believe that the other guy was like in for it at first. Like, he was all for it. And then once he's seen maybe an artery or something, because that amount of blood, we don't even bleed like that when we're like breaking our hymen. You know what I mean? It's just, it was too much. And his behavior. What I can roll his behavior off as is like maybe he didn't want me to know exactly what he did. But the other part of me is like, he really brought me to this house in the same room. He gave me the room that it had the blood in. And I know that, like, please don't get me started. Because in a way that you're in your right mind and you didn't want me to ever know about it, and you were kind of embarrassed about it or whatever, like you had your own fetishes, you had your own things behind closed doors, like in the closet, you know, like I am a big person, and he knew this. I was a big person on love is love. Now, do I want to be, let me just stop there, because I'm not going to be incriminating, but would I have been able to be there during this? Hell to the no. And if I knew about it, baby, that's the stuff we fantasize about. If you have those, that's not the stuff that you do in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm not no better. I try to tell myself that, even though I know I'm better than that. But I try to tell myself, like, I'm not no better than you, you know. But at the end of the day, to be respectful, sure, could I have ruled that it is like some weird shit going on, you know, and they had their time? Sure, if that's what you like. But his behavior, so off. His behavior was so weird to me that is like unruly. And then outside of that, like, nothing made sense. Why are you having me sleep in this room and you in the other room? You know what I'm saying? Like, could not be me. And he knew he couldn't do that to me, because, baby, you hurt me like that, I'm gonna call my motherfucking daddy. And he gonna come. Baby, just be grateful. Just be grateful. You know, tread lightly. I'm trying to be respectful at the same time, because in the beginning it went really good. Like, the relationship was, like I told y'all, like I was very blunt with everything, baby. It was finger licking good. I ain't gonna do it. Let me not. I'm not gonna do it. I won't. Oh, do the details that I know behind closed doors do I want to share with y'all? I want to share it all. I want to share it all. But I can't, and I won't. But yeah. So it was just like, you know, these are the things that I did want to clarify in this video, so y'all know that I'm not lying. I know what I know, and I know what I remember. And there is no doubt about that. Like, it wasn't just me, it was multiple people in that house, and everybody seen the same shit that I did. Do they pay you off to be quiet? I mean, I ain't never get no money, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be honest about that, because that did stick with me over the years. Like, you know who I am, he knew who I am, because when you are in like the industry or in this certain ranking, you get introduced to other people that may be celebrities, they may be performers, they may be the ghostwriters, and a lot of the times you never know who a ghostwriter is. It could be a little white girl in a raggedy ass house doing ghostwriting. We keep our stuff though. We know what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, you know, but you would never suspect it. So on the outside, it just is like, and here's the other thing. I hope I'm not pushing it, because I don't want to get no trauma. But here's the other thing. So how we talk out loud, like we're just talking, we're chilling. But there is this secret language, or this body language that we read off of each other, that only those who are elite or in this ranking were educated on. So we know how to do it. Like using code words, you know, blah, 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 blah. he 100% knew who I am, and I 100% know who he is. At the time, I was kind of unfamiliar with exactly who he was. And that even just goes to show, like, honestly, that should just show that I was genuine and that I cared about him and I liked him, you know. I was like all for him. I didn't care who he was. I didn't even know what performer he was or artist he was. I didn't care about that. I only cared about, like, I liked him. So I think that was also on his end a test from me to see, like, are you a gold digger? Are you here for money? Are you here for clout? Blah, blah, blah. Never that. It took me, what are we in 2025? 12 years. Oh my God, it's been 12 or 11 years. I went almost a decade without talking about this shit. And he did give me permission, just so you do know. He did give me permission. He told me to leave names out of it and certain information out of it. So, and I did. But was he like a violent person on the regular? Hell no. He was so genuine, gentle, kind, charismatic. But once I started seeing those signs towards the end, he made it more than obvious. And then he would switch back to his normal self. It was, looking back, the only thing that I can say, if I'm gonna be like, I want to have a positive outcome to this story, you know what I mean? Because, like, I moved past all of those things and I seen him for who he truly was, but I didn't ignore those either, the things that I discovered, and that's why we've never talked again. Was I perfect in the relationship? No. However, he was well aware of that and was more willing to move past those things than I was when I seen his shit, you know? And so I can't say that he was a terrible person, but that one thing, if it's true, and there's like 95, 96% evidence that it was true, that's too extreme for me. But the other version of him was great. So it's those things that we do see, and again, these are factors to my perspective and what I experienced firsthand. Now, at 17, 18, are we the most wise? No. But is our perspective and our perception our reality? Yes. So, moving on and looking into that Celeste and David situation, it kind of makes me like, I don't think that person would have ever hurt me, because he had plenty of chances if he wanted to. So in this case, with the David and Celeste situation, it's like I can relate to her in a lot of ways. Dating somebody who's in the industry or who is a public figure, you know, them making you feel so good and loved, wanted, you're important, they're buying you things, you know, he has a business going for himself. I see all of that. Unfortunately for her, this landed her in a fatal position where I didn't, thankfully, experience that, you know. The red flags that I seen, baby, I was out and I ain't never come back. And, you know, he probably had his fair share of other people too, so it's really nothing. But in this situation, it seemed like she ran away to be with David, and whatever happened. He had a lot of fantasies that were kind of graphic and a lot of gore, as we see in his merch and his lyrics. That all says everything. And a lot of the girls came out and said that they were dating him while they were underage, and he would like only add girls that were underage. So doesn't look good for him. And in her situation, I believe that he may have taken his fantasies a little too far. I believe that she was likely suffocated. That's just the feeling that I get. I don't know for sure, but that's something that I'm getting. So it's one of those, like, we'll know more details when they come out, and you know, they're gonna do their forensic science and things like that. But you know, in this case, it's relatable to those who have dated somebody who is in this different field, because it's a totally different world than what the average people would experience. And in the world of fame, there's lots of opportunities, lots of ego boosts, you know, things that would go through their head for sure that is not normal, or that could be causing somebody to act in a certain way. I'm not giving him no excuses though, just so y'all know. You see my last video, I ain't giving no fucking excuses, but that's just how it is, and that's just the situation of it. That's just the reality of it. And especially, I did see that he had like this merchandise that had blood on it, something different, and she was found dismembered. That would, bro, do you know what it takes to dismember somebody for real? Like, it takes a lot. And for them to do something like that, like, you might have to have certain machinery, like a saw. You would have to have a saw, you know, different equipment that could take them limbs apart, you know, like, it's crazy. And how he hasn't been arrested just yet is crazy to me. I mean, like, honestly, all of the things and the evidence that they have on him, and she still hasn't been found. I mean, she's been found, but he still hasn't been arrested. What am I talking about? Let me put this drink down. But yeah, so I'm sure that the truth will reveal, and the cause of death, all of those will come into play. Right now, it seems like what the police are doing is gathering evidence, data, all of the things that could lead to his locations, when, where, how, her locations. They're tracking everything, and it will be just a matter of time before they release certain evidence, and I'm excited to hear what they have to say. On another note, praying for the family. I hope that they get their justice and their closure in the situation. And I just wanted to share, of course, my story and explain how easy it is to fall victim to these things. So I can only, again, speak off of experience and what I've seen firsthand, what I dealt with firsthand. Thankfully, I think mine was more of a low volume compared to what she experienced. His lifestyle, his lyrics, they seemed close, but there was obviously something that was going on that was pretty in-depth that she experienced. And God forbid, I mean, whatever she had to go through, I cannot imagine. So many prayers to her. This is not about me in any way, shape, or form, aside from the story that I shared with you. When I'm discussing her case, I'm simply relating and saying that she had it the worst. She had it the worst of one of those minor girls who are in the business of dating people who are in the industry, and the things that she must have seen and went through and endured, heard, all of that. has to be what nightmares are made of, especially because she was found dismembered in his car. So it's just sharing our stories helps you guys understand a little bit more that shit is not always gravy, and it's not always strawberries and cream. It's not always that lovey-dovey. No, these people, they come across and they perform and they do a damn good job, and I'm not hating on nobody. But what we hear in their songs, there's deeper meanings, and there are real fantasies or real kinks that fulfill or feed their soul. And not all of them are bad. Not all of them are horrible or gruesome. Some are just different than others. I'm a very open person in a lot of ways. And I think from the sounds of it, she was kind of like that too. Except for she kind of navigated into this corner a little bit, where I'm kind of over here. So I didn't see the things that she must have seen and went through. But coming from a similar place and somewhere that I can kind of relate to a little bit, God bless her soul, because she was very forgiving, very open, and very dedicated to David. And he took advantage of that, it seems. So fuck that guy. That's what I have to say to him. Fuck you. And the other girl also, I did see that there was this other chick, and this is just in the video, so I don't know for sure who she is, but she was like, at one point she was like sticking up for David, like, oh, just don't get caught. Like, girl, what is you talking about? Like, get your ass in the back, ho. Don't even know, we don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what I'm saying? And then she's also like, she's underage herself, so to me it seems like a pick-me, like, oh, don't get caught messing with this girl who's underage. Like, fuck with me instead. Like, girl, get the fuck out of here. And then she want to go stick up for him, sharing all of these things. Like, oh, it wasn't him who did it. Like, where am I sitting? Do I need to get that chancla? Get your ass out of here. Get your ass to the back, hoe. That's what I got to say about her. I know I was almost done with my story, but I had to end that with that, because she done pissed me off when I seen her comments and the post that she done made regarding this story. It's like, girl, you was on the outside. You was an internet bitch. Like, you didn't even know what was going on, and I don't care if he was underage. Like, you was obsessed with this man and you wanted to fuck with him, and you were excusing his behavior and saying, oh, it's okay, don't get caught, you know what I'm saying? And then sticking up for him when her body was found in his car. Where is the women empowerment? Where do we do that at? Because we're not doing that. With that being said, I'm about to get off of here and go find something else to do for the day.